Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. That's not the usual order I go in, but where am I looking here? Am I looking here? I'm looking here. Okay. Welcome to whatever channel you might happen to be watching on. This is Mike. I'm here. I'm on three channels right now. I'm on Blacklist Universe, Draw Comics Like a Pro, and Unapologetic American. And I haven't done a just regular nightcap stream. This is where I grab my nightcap and I enjoy it with my viewers. But I don't live stream a lot anymore. Kind of deciding whether or not I want to get back into the habit. Hey, John Wick, how you doing, buddy? What channel are you watching on? Let me know in the back. Not in the back, in the chat. See, I'm so out of practice at live stream. It's like, you guys know I do the weekly streams. For those of you who watch Blacklist Universe regularly, I do the weekly streams Wednesday nights, although I took almost a whole month off this past month. So yeah, I kind of feel like I'm not back in the swing of things. What's up, guy from Red Bank? And Rhaegar, hello, John. See, now my finger is, if I touch this, I'm, and I want to be doing this the whole time. Did I move? So Saturday, my internet went out, and and so I've been dealing with AT&T. Well, I tried to deal with them on Saturday. I was on hold for like 2 hours, and so it was an absolute mess. I couldn't do anything, and so I finally got a hold of them today. They're just terrible on weekends. They're absolutely worthless on weekends. And so today I got a hold of them, and the soonest they can have somebody out to look at it, because it's the actual box, the modem, the router, um, is Wednesday. And I'm like, ugh. It's crazy how much we become reliant on this technological nightmare we live in. No, it was not. Did Hillary blow you into Canada? No, Jiminy, it was not Hillary. Um, it was Monica. No, just kidding. It was not Hillary. It was just. Is that a dead fly? Something's on my floor. I don't want to touch it. It was just, I don't know, my router. You guys have seen it. My router, it just boots the internet. Like last Wednesday's stream, I got booted from that router twice. And so I think it was just a jacked up. No, it's not my own. It's from AT&T. Jiminy asks. And I think that it's I think it was a faulty one or something, because you guys saw that I got booted fairly regularly, and then it just kind of crapped out, and now I'm here streaming from my phone. And for some reason I can't use my hotspot on my TV, which, kind of me and the missus, we like to just hang out at night and snuggle and watch TV. It's kind of a thing. But I should buy my own cable modem. Um, I mean, AT&T gives you one. It just sucks. Hopefully, I'll get a better one next time, and it won't cause that kind of problems. Yeah, we didn't do. Oh, it's a rental fee? Do I have to rent that thing? Oops. Sorry, Gino. You should buy your own. You could save a deal good of money. Really? Really? I didn't realize. Because it's a whole, I don't know. Maybe I'll talk you. Yeah, maybe I'll talk to them about it. Uh, Dang it. More things to think about. I wonder if I am required to use AT&T's modem. Now, check your bill. Yeah. Dang. Good call, fellas. But yeah, this is the old chair. If you guys remember 5 or 6 years ago when I used to stream from my laptop, I would stream from this chair against this wall with my beautiful, oh my gosh, you guys don't even know, huh? A lot of you probably don't know. And if you're here watching on any of the channel, I have an original Koseki Gojima hanging on my wall. That was a gift from my mother. And now I don't, this is why I don't want you guys to know where I live because you'll come steal it. But yeah, the artist of Lone Wolf and Cub, that's the art there. And there's a whole story about how I managed to have that painting hanging on my wall. But Jiminy wants to talk about the modem. Sorry. See this? You know what I could probably do is turn my phone upside down. And then, yeah, now I can. I know where you live. No, you don't, Chadwick. Any relation to Hideo Kojima? I don't know. No, it's Koseki Gojima, right? Not Goseki Kojima. Now you're confusing me. Lone Wolf and Cub artist. And so, anyways, I have that because Koseki Go used to go to this bar in Japan all the time. Like he was a bar fly at this one bar. And I guess I don't know if he did it as a gift or to pay off a bar tab. He would give the bar owner um, original paintings on rice paper. These are original rice paper paintings from him. This is actually it's not from Lone Wolf and Cub. It's just a separate thing. And so this bar owner was a friend of my mom's, and my mom was quite the alcoholic in her own her own sense in her youth. And so she, for whatever reason, her friend was like, "Hey, you want one of these?" And she gave her an original Koseki Go. And I was in my mom's house. I mean, I guess it's always been around. I just never really paid attention to it. But my mom noticed that I had the two full thick. I'm doing this because there's two of them and they're both like this thick. Lone Wolf and Cub mangas on my shelf, and she goes, "Oh, that's a Koseki Go. That's a guy I got the painting." I'm like, "What?" So you know my painting in my house I have is Koseki Go. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I went over to her house and I saw, and she's like, yeah, that's by the artist of Lone Wolf and Cub. I'm like, that's awesome. And then she told me the story of how she got it. And then like my next birthday, she just gave it to me. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. It's probably not worth much. I don't think, a Koseki Go goes for more than a few $1,000, but still it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you want to I'll get you a better look at it. It is really in fantastic shape. It's been indoors. I'm trying to get without the glare. And sorry for the niblets of nudity, but oh, it's glaring. My phone is what's glaring. Sorry. So yeah, it's in fantastic shape. The colors are still real vibrant. It's never been in direct sunlight, so it's just yeah, it's on really cool. Like the rice paper is nearly, I don't know, it's got a reflective quality to it. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah. So that's apparently how you get world famous comic book artists from. Geez, how long ago was Lone Wolf and Cub? Is that the 70s? That's yeah, whatever. Will you hire the artist of Lone Wolf and Cub to do Lone Star? I think he's dead. So yeah. Lots of fires around my part of the state. The AQI is terrible and at least 20,000 acres burned so far. It looks. Where are you? What state is on fire? Are you in Hawaii? Wow, so cool. Sorry, Oh, Gino, where are you? What channel are you watching from? Yeah, like I said, I'm on three different shows, so or I'm on three different channels, simul streaming to three different channels. It'd be nice if somebody watched over on Unapologetic Americans so I could get some view hours. But we can talk politics if you like. I'm absolutely down with that. Although I do need to get something to put my drink on because I am causing some distress to my table. Hold on. Got a nice little piece of paper. I could put it in there. Right. Unapologetic. All right, Gino. Cool. Yeah, if you guys want to swing over to Unapologetic and watch there, I could use the view hours. John Wick says my modem. Oops. No. My modem is provided by internet provider for free. I had bought my own, but use that as backup when the internet's company's modem dies. Hmm. Hmm. I have two chats up. What's the third? Draw comics like a pro, I believe is the name of the channel. Yeah, and I can't link and stuff to here because whatever. But you know I can do more. Whoops. Layout guests. Ah, crud. It's so hard to control this from your guests. Invite guests. Copy. Oh, I can't even comment on here. Gosh darn. Yeah, I mean the phone version of StreamYard is just not it's not all cracked up, you know what I'm saying? Ah, thank you. Thank you, John Wick, for posting my links. Yeah, so let's see what's been going on. That's kind of it for me today. I mean, it was Isaac's first day at school. Uh, his school has moved locations because it's a homeschool. So, I mean, never mind. Anyways, Isaac's first day at school, and Micah, we're doing a separate homeschooling thing. I've got him started on Real Crusades history, so I think that's a really fun, cool topic that covers some really interesting historical stuff. And so many people get the Crusades just completely wrong, you know, thinking it's all like, oh man, that's what I used to hear long time ago before I was a Christian even um, about how bad Christians were because of the Crusades. The Crusades were so bad, and I'm like, I started watching Real Crusades history, which is it's a channel on YouTube, right? They use a ton of first what do you call it? First person reportage. Um, what's that called? The source material is like first person. There's a term for it, but I can't really remember. No, I didn't move them to a different location in the house. Yeah, crusades are justified. Well, I'm going to say that most of them are. There were a couple crusades that were land grabs and money grabs, and honestly, even Christians fighting Christians. But yeah, primary sources. Thank you, Rhaegar. I don't know why the term escaped my mind. Um, Michael Knowles turned me around on the Crusades a while ago. Real Crusades history looks to be pretty good. It's great. I mean, it's not like, I mean, they're well produced videos. The guy's not the most entertaining reader of the content, but the content is great. And he uses a lot of original sources, primary sources, um, and really gets you a better, well-rounded understanding of what caused the Crusades. Obviously, it was the Muslims that caused the Crusades. There would be no Crusades if the Muslims hadn't conquered all of that land by the sword, which just, it wasn't even, it was like, it was Christian land, not because it was conquered by Christians, right? But because Christianity spread through nonviolent means over the course of the first 5 centuries of after Christ. And so all these lands from what we would call Asia, Turkey and whatnot, uh, from Asia to Africa to Europe was all Christian, not because we went around chopping people's heads off, but because Christ Christ's message was just spreading around the planet. I mean, the known world at the time. Then a little dude named Muhammad got a vision from a demon that said, "Go and chop everybody's heads off who won't bow the knee or make them pay is it jizya, the tax." So that's the thing in the Muslim world. You could either die or you can pay a tax to the Muslims for them letting you live. It was very much like the mob protection racket. Hey, that's a nice life you got. Be ashamed if something happened to it. And jizya, yes. And so, yeah, that are you bagging on the color of my house? Damn it, fuzzy creature. It's not really a yellow. I don't think it's really coming off. It's I mean, it's yellowish. It's more like an ochre than a yellow. Although I guess they do call it yellow ochre. Anyways, back to the story. What was it? The jizya? Yeah. So and then so they went around and essentially just this spread Islam through the sword, through threats. I mean, that's one way because generally speaking, people just want to live in peace. And I mean, even looking at our culture where we're getting taxed to 40 or 50 or more percent of our income, and we haven't like risen up and overthrown the government because of how incredibly unfair the taxation is in this country. Um, so like people in the 6th century, this crowd of freaking hooligans comes into your town and says, you can convert to Islam and live for free. You can die, or you can pay us. I think it's 15%. I think the jizya is 15%, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. But you can pay us some percentage of your income for the rest of your life so that we don't kill you. Honestly, a lot of people are just going to say, you say the Muslim one's the free one where I get to live? Right? And then they go around just trying to convince everybody that, the Christian scriptures are all tainted anyway, so we have the new good prophet. So anyways, they conquered so much land from, ultimately all the way into Bangladesh. I'm thinking about over time, even the Mongols, a certain part of the Mongols became Muslims. They were called Muggles. I think it's Muggles. And that's when you got, what's that dude's name? Tamerlan. You guys heard of Tamerlan? Remember the New Jersey bomber kid? His name was Tamerlan. He was named after this dude, Tamer the Lame, Tamerlan, who was like responsible for. So, okay, what happened? I think it was in Pakistan or Bangladesh or one of those areas, India, back when it was all India. Yeah, Boston, the Boston bomber. Um, so Tamerlane was one of the generals, I think, in the Mughal army, who I hope I'm pronouncing that right. No, it looks more like Mogul, I think, if you look at. And he captured, he had captured like an entire army of Indians, um, and ordered them all executed. I believe IIRC. It was 100,000 men he had beheaded in a single day under his orders. And that's the dude that the mother of the Boston bomber named him after. It's like, who could I name? It'd be like a German woman naming their kid Adolf, right? Like legitimately, or Mengele or something. 100,000 beheadings in a single day under this general, and she's like, "That's the guy I want my kid to model." And I guess he did, right? Da, da, da. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, Boston Marathon bomber. I think they made a movie about that. Matt Wahlberg might have been in. Oh, Matt Wahlberg. I don't know. Adolf Schwarzenegger. Islam is a great religion if you ignore most of the edicts or basic facts or the entire history of that bloodthirsty demonic religion. Yeah. I was in a bar the night they caught the bomber. I had a drink in honor of the first responders, and their efforts should have gotten the death penalty. Absolutely should have gotten the death penalty. Yeah. So, anyways, I was watching Barstool podcast earlier tonight. They were talking about a character in Islam, the Hadiths, and I don't know how much he's in the Quran. Um, your most perfect person is a 6th century warlord. Can't go up from there. Well, I don't think Tamerlane was 6th century. I think he was. Let's see, the Mongol Empire was what, roughly the 10th, 11th century. I know it went through the 12th century. I think they're around for about 3 centuries. So somewhere around that area, probably 10th to 13th century or something like that. That's the thing. Islam has had a bit of a problem slaughtering people for about 1,800 years, I believe. No, no, not 1,800. 1,500 years. Yeah, and then it was World War One that ultimately brought Islam more or less as a military power to its knees, um, because World War One, the Ottoman Empire, who was the biggest Muslim military power on the planet at the time, they sided with Germany, and then they were ultimately, when they were defeated, that's when the Western powers divided up the Ottoman Empire into what we have now today with Iran, Iraq, and Turkey, and blah 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 blah, all those different countries that didn't really exist before that. uh, I'm trying to figure out which power item. What are you talking about, Amy? Oh, Wonder Twins. Oh, sorry. Turkey mostly. Turkey mostly what? What, the Ottoman? The Ottoman Empire was huge. It was way bigger than Turkey. Sorry, I meant Mark Wahlberg was in it. Marky Mark himself. He played a police sergeant who was witnessing it. It's called Patriots Day. Oh, I have not seen it. No, I have not checked that out. So, Anyways, yeah, so we were talking on that, and he was talking about, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was, and I was just doing some reading about it prior to me coming on here, but a guy, hello, Joseph Peck, welcome to the Potty Pal, uh, who in the Hadiths, he is a, he's the false Messiah, but it seems like it's entirely possible that he's actually Jesus. And then the false Jesus is one of their Messiah things. So in Islam, the one who claims to be Jesus is, they call him the son of Mary. And they say he didn't actually die. Someone else went up in his place and died in his place, and then he like ascended into heaven or something like that. But this other character, which I'm trying to remember the name of, but I'm totally drawing a blank. He could be referenced as the actual Messiah because they're like claiming that he's the one that's going to come and deceive the Muslims into being going to hell. Like it's some crazy stuff. It's funny because I don't always heard about the Mahdi and like the kind of stuff that he does, and how the Mahdi, who's the Messiah in Islam, is totally the Antichrist in the Bible. It's like one and the other. Hey Mike, I was over at Unapologetic American, but it looks like everyone is here. Well, open up another window and leave it open there too, so I can get some view hours over there. Amy, what are you doing over here? All the cool people are on Blacklist Universe. At least that's what Melissa says. Great. Now the chat will explode. Yeah, just don't just sit there and carry on your own conversations. You got to be here with me in the moment, having this discussion about the end times, about comic book art and the end times and Islam and the Crusades and the kind of important political discussions we're having for the day. Or I could just, say Joe Biden bad, Donald Trump good, while I gingerly sip on my vodka. Gingerly. It looks like a lot of vodka, but really what it is, see how little ice there is in there? That was all ice. And now my ice is melted, and I don't know why it melted so bloody fast. It's crazy. All right. I'm here on this channel. Mike's all in for Biden. Oh my gosh. You see him today? I only saw one clip of him today. That's him talking about it. I kind of know what it's like to lose a house. So you're talking to all these people, like 1,000 something people are missing. Hundreds of homes up in ash. People's lives absolutely affected. I kind of know what it's like to lose a house. I almost lost my car. It's my 57 Corvette. And my cat. But I didn't. They're fine. So yeah, I totally feel your pain. It's such a Biden is so bad. Even my mom, who she doesn't like Trump at all because she follows, Japanese media, and they're all the media, the media. She doesn't follow good media like this. And yeah, everybody grab a nightcap and enjoy a moment of respite here on YouTube with me. But even she's like, did you hear what Biden said in Hawaii? Not in Hawaii. They asked him what what he have to say about Maui, the fires. He said, no comment. I'm like, I know. He's like, and it's been like what, 2 weeks, and he's done nothing. Oh my gosh. Fuzzy says, I kind of understood it when Obama and the media ignored all the flooding in a red state. You'd think they'd be falling all over themselves to support a blue one. What do you mean?
Obama sent him $700 each, you know, to rebuild.
There's so much crazy stuff going on over there. I don't want to instantly jump to the conspiracy theory stuff, but it's like I'm watching these videos of like first hand, witnesses, and they're like, yeah, the cops wouldn't let us leave the area. It's like, what are you talking? The cops wouldn't let you evacuate a burning area. They're like, no, they tried to redirect us to this uh, upland stuff. And then you find out, oh, they shut the water off in the middle of fighting the fires. They shut the water off, but they left the power on, which apparently you're supposed to shut the power off. That one I'm not real sure on. Are you really supposed to shut the power off during a hurricane? I mean, we didn't shut the power. Well, we barely got any wind here. Um, but yeah, that, and then I haven't double checked, but it's like it sounds like Oprah's property and I think it's Obama's, and a number of like big rich celebrity properties, they were fine. Nothing hurt their property, which I don't know how you can control a blaze like that. So again, I'm not jumping to the conspiracy theory, but I'm also not dismissing the conspiracy theory yet out of hand, just because of how much, like insurance companies are I hear they're already screwing people, which maybe that's just the nature of insurance companies. But obviously, that's some many billions of dollars worth of land that now must be redeveloped. And exactly, David, something janky-ish is going on. And so I won't dismiss, but I will not fully endorse the conspiracy theories just yet. It just really does, correct, make you wonder. Thank you, Nuker. And welcome. So, yeah, it's crazy. Joseph Peck says, I guess that forest care necessary to dissuade wildfires was done properly around the richer neighborhoods. True. Also, I will say, I was born in Japan. Japan. I was born in Hawaii, and I know a lot of the older homes, and I'm guessing not all of those homes in Lahaina are brand new. But a lot of the older homes, they're made out of freaking cinder blocks and Luan. And if you don't know what Luan is basically your lightest, cheapest building material. I mean, here in the States, you buy Luan, it's like an eighth of an inch thick, right? My mom used to tell stories about when we were in Hawaii and she was trying to hang things up on the wall. She would hammer it, put the nail through the wall, and she'd go, oh, that's not a good spot. She'd pull it out, and sunlight would come through. It was just it. That was it. There was the Luan, and there was outside. There's no, you know, drywall or insulation or inside court, 2x4. It was just Luan, and it's so. Um, I think a lot of those houses burned like hot but fast, so they just went up like you know super fast, super hot. And I saw one guy, he said that he had watered his house paper thin. Yeah, like legit paper thin houses. It's not as bad as like the literal paper houses that my mom grew up in Tokyo before World War II. Those, when they got firebombed, that was paper and kindling, man. I mean, that's like this, right? Except not glass, just rice paper. Those are your houses in pre-World War II Japan. Yeah, my mom's whole village was firebombed and just gone. And so anyways, they had to rebuild there. But yeah, that's the way the old construction is in Hawaii. And so hot and fast. I think that's why it just tore through so quickly, um, and why the houses burn so quickly and so easily because they're not obviously not fire retardant or anything like that. The wood's probably 60, 80 years old, so it's very dry. Um, yeah, the firebombing was terrible, far worse than the nukes. My mom's earliest memory because she was only like 2 or 3 years old. But she remembers being strapped on her aunt's back and like running from town. And she remembers logs in the river because her little mind couldn't process that those were bodies. Um, anyways, that was just a very grim reality for her. But her family survived the firebombing because her uncle had been through a firebombing before, and he was trying to tell everyone in the village to go back after it was firebombed. He's like, go back, because after everything was burned down, and like I said, hot, fast, but it's over, right? Like my house, this house was burned for 3 days, 2 days maybe. I don't know. But like those it's like burning kindling. You know how like it burns hot and fast, like when you just burning really small sticks and stuff. Or if you ever burned Christmas trees, they're like huge, booming, glorious flame, and then it's done in like 3 minutes, right? That's what that kind of thin construction will do. And so my uncle was like, go back. Once they fire, because he knew he'd been through it before. Once they firebomb an area, they're not going to firebomb it again, right? So, and for those of you who don't know what firebombing is, in World War II, they would drop basically burning tar, bricks of burning tar, from B-52s or whatever the hell planes they were using, and just burn entire cities in Japan. They didn't even bother using bombs. Not like Dresden. They just burned my my mom's entire village up. And so if the stories are accurate, everybody in my mom's village died except my mom's family because everybody ran to another village that hadn't yet been firebombed, and then it was. And they were the only ones that went back, uh, and survived. I know. Such a happy story. Yeah, I'm telling my mom's got to write all this stuff down because wow, she's had a crazy life. She's 83 years old now. Um, Pretty freaking good condition for an 83-year-old woman. But yeah, her stories are insane. Like her when she was telling her aunt about that story, her aunt was just like, "How do you remember that?" Right? She's like, you were like 2 years old. And I remember. And it's like, I mean, I imagine that's a pretty start. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I must have been 2 or 3. Um, I think it might be my first memory. I jumped off this little in Hawaii in that house I was talking about. I jumped off this little brick thing into the grass, and I remember seeing it. I saw it before I landed on it. There was so in the old days, you didn't open cans from the top. You opened them from the side, right? And then you took the whole top off, which left a nice razor sharp rim around the side. And so I saw it before my little toe landed on it. It was a open tuna can, and my toe landed on it. Almost took my toe off, and I remember like being upside down on a chair like this with my dad like bandaging up my foot, and I'm sure I still have the scar, although I haven't looked down at that. But yeah, so I mean, traumatic things like that you will remember. Your town getting firebombed, and then seeing a river of bodies as you cross over the bridge out of town. Yeah, that's what my mom remembers. But like I said, her tiny, tiny brain couldn't justify a river full of dead bodies, and so she just thought they were logs. Can we have a 5 finger break? No, finger five break. We can't because I'm on my phone and I don't have access like that. Um, please don't show us your ugly toes. I have beautiful toes, David. How dare you? Rhaegar says, yeah, everyone should talk to the older people while they can. Sometimes you might have to poke at them a bit, but you can learn a lot about family history by being bothersome. It beats not knowing. Yeah. Well, I've heard my mom's stories quite a bit over the years, so. But I'd like for her to write them down. Even though she writes in Japanese, I could still get them translated. You need to get these stories on tape, Mike, for future generations in your family. Mike, have you read the Barefoot Gen manga series? Barefoot Gen? No, I don't know what that is. Now I feel down. Sorry, guy. Um, that's how Mike gained the ability to draw with his toes, mutilated feet. No toes are beautiful. My toes are beautiful. I'll show them to you sometime. Or you could give her a YouTube channel. That having my mom come down, sit down and tell her story, that might be some interesting TV. Yeah. hmm Well, I mean, so the reason my mom has two families in Japan. And the reason is she was the daughter of my Ji-chan, Sanji Takashi, and his wife. Um, they were the first. My mom was born before the war, right? And then my Ji-chan went to war to fight for Hirohito and Imperial Japan. And there was this man who was the ration controller, who just happened to be in love with my bachan, my grandmother. And so he would sort of spoil my bachan, and this was in World War II Japan, so the rationing was like on high. They had, even just getting white rice was a treat at the time, and my mom hated brown rice or wheat or whatever the substitutes they were giving people. And so my bachan and the ration controller, uh, I'm not entirely sure how it all happened, but my Ji-chan was, I guess, hurt, injured in the war, and so he was kind of just incommunicado for a while, and then he came home, and my mom remembers opening the door to see this man who, I mean, she was just a baby, right? So, I mean, she was like, I think she was like 4 years old at that time. It was like 2 years into the war or something like that. And she remembers opening the door and seeing her dad, who she hadn't seen since, for years. And so she didn't really recognize him. And he looks up and her mom's behind her, like 8 months pregnant. So he just turned around and walked away. Um, so my bachan and the dude who, provided my mom and her with decent food during the rationing, they had a family. And then my Jichan got married to someone else and they had a family. And neither the two ever met any of the other until I went to Japan like 5 years ago for Tokyo Comic Con. And I stayed with, let's see, which side is Shigeo? I think Shigeo's my Jichan's family side. Shoot, now I don't even know. I don't know, but I stayed with one side of the family, but I knew people from the other side of the family. And so I got like 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know. I got a big group of people from both sides of the family together for the first time in their entire existence. Both sides of my mom's family got together because I went to Japan for Tokyo Comic Con and, and brought them together. And my mom was so stoked about that because it's like not what you want to see when you come home from work. No, definitely not. Um, Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that that anime reminds me of my mom's stories. Like really, really does. How cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And they got to meet Eden too because I took her. And and here's another thing. And this isn't so much a Japanese thing as just a stubborn, angry family thing. Once upon a time, many, many years ago, um, my uncle got mad because my aunt, who was his sister, said something bad about his wife. And he was so livid about it, he completely cut her out of his life, which meant that my cousin never, ever from that point on, never even got to meet his uncle, right? But when I came to Japan, my cousin had already come and visited me here in San Diego, and so I got to go and hang out with him in Japan, and like he got to meet his uncle, his other uncle. I'm not sure how this is all working out. He's my uncle. He'd be his great uncle, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Um, and I don't think he'd seen him since he was like 4 years old or something like that. And that was Shota. For those of you who remember Shota when he was here years ago. But yeah, he got to meet Uncle Shigeo, and yeah, they seemed to hit it off, and like Akemi and Shigeo and Momoko and like all of this family. actually got to talk to each other for the first time because I went to Japan, and it kind of makes me want to go back and see what else I see if I can get more people there. Uh, Hawaii plans to hold Ukraine Independence Day event on August 26th at Magic Island to raise money and awareness for Ukraine. That's my birthday, and for my birthday, I want to not think about money and awareness for Ukraine. So, how about that? Ragnar says, I've never even heard of Grave of the Fireflies. Oh boy. If you want to watch a really, really good and horribly, horribly depressing movie, it's a Studio Ghibli film. It's excellently done about the really sad story of two orphaned children during World War II. This is why we love Mike Miller. He makes friends with everybody. Well, they're my family. I'm just glad they got to, get over their bull crap. And oh yeah, yeah, they got to reconcile. Shoot, I'm trying to remember who. I know my mom's aunt just passed away like last year. So I believe they got to reconcile uh, just before that. So yeah, it's funny when I mean I hear stories like my dad. My dad talks about how people are like there's this stubborn streak in the Miller family, and my son Micah has it, but and I have it too. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's been tempered over the years. So I've told this story before, but there was this one time that I was dealing with my father's wife, who I've always refused to call my stepmother. And I don't know what I said, but I said something clearly disrespectful and left. And my dad was in the kitchen with her reading the newspaper, and she's like, Jerry. He's like, what? She's like, you can't let Mike talk to me like that. And he just takes his newspaper and he folds it, and he puts it on the table. And he goes, Julie, you have to understand something. When my dad got mad at my grandfather, he didn't talk to him for the rest of his life. When I got mad at my dad, I didn't talk to him for 20 years. I'm just glad Mike talks to me. You're on your own. I love that he recounted that story to me. uh, I know, right? Who would ever think that I had any kind of stubborn streak in my genetic background? But I think that's how, I don't know, maybe that's just like the older generations just are stubborn. Is it just my family on both sides, apparently? uh, I don't know. But now I'm dealing with it with Micah because he's always trying to out stubborn me. And I'm like, bro, stubborn or steadfast? I can do both. I can be steadfastly stubborn or stubbornly steadfast. Um, yeah, so wow, this totally not topics I thought I would be getting anywhere near tonight, but interesting, interesting. You guys have any questions, comments, curiosities? Because I just did want to come on here and shoot the crap for a bit, but my voice is waning, so I might just wrap it up here in a minute or two. Oh, I did get kicked off of Twitter for 24 hours, or I don't know if it was 24 hours, but I saw that a certain Frog King got the dude F Java. All right, dude, I got you, bro. Have you seen the new Bleach anime series? No, I have not. The only recent anime I've watched is Vinland Saga. Always great to hang with you, Mike, even if it's only virtual. Amen, amen. Any favorite anime movies or series? I mean, honestly, Naruto is still probably my favorite. Um, but Vinland Saga was cool. Um, I like that. I mean, I'm a fan of like Vikings and Lost Kingdom, or is it Last Kingdom? Last Kingdom, and that kind of historical fiction type of thing based on real stuff. And so Vinland Saga was just right up my alley. So my Micah wanted to watch it with me, and so we watched that together. I stayed up on the last stretch of the second season. Man, I stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning because I was like, there's only three left. There's only two left. There's only one left. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm like, go to bed. I know. I watched the whole thing already. The second season, tell him. Um, but yeah, so someone pointed out that what was said on Twitter was KYS, which I was like, what's KYS? And someone said, uh, uh, suggested what it meant. I said, oh, that KYS. I got it. And they banned me like instantaneously. So it was a bot. It was definitely a bot that for some reason that KYS on Twitter is one of those trigger words that gets you kicked. But then they said, "Oh, we reviewed your post and we're sure that you shouldn't be blah blah." I'm like, "You did not review that post. If you'd have reviewed that post at all, you'd have realized I didn't even know what the hell KYS was." So, anyways, I'm back. I'm back. Watch the new series, Thousand Year Blood War. It's great. I gave up on Bleach over a decade ago because it went so on for so long, but after a 7 year hiatus, the new series is fantastic. Honestly, honestly, I don't have time for manga. Um, or not manga, but anime. Because anime, I pay attention. It's like I can watch a TV series with acting and stuff, because generally speaking, you don't have to pay attention to every second. But anime is art. And when I'm watching art, I want to watch the actual art, right? And so it's hard for me to watch anime because of the nature of when I watch TV. It's like my wife's not going to sit there and want to watch anime with me. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Did they ever do a Lone Wolf and Cub anime? I know they did a live action series, but did they do an anime? It's a, hmm, I don't know. Oh goodness, your copies of Hand of the Morning Star got here. You actually bought them. Awesome. Well, read the first three chapters, which I wrote, and tell me what you think. After that, I don't care what you think. Just um, Just Spec says, I concur with C.S. Lewis et al., who are of the opinion that the devil can't create anything bad, just corrupt that which is good. So then there'd be no trait that is purely bad. Hmm. Well, he can't create anything bad. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think they ever did a Lone Wolf anime. Mm-mm-mm. It was awesome, deep, and very twisty. Oh, okay. I assume you're talking about Anna the Morning Star. All right. Well, I think that's enough Jabba Jaw for me tonight. It's been an hour in 10 seconds. It will be an hour. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me, and I don't know if I'll be able to do the show tomorrow night because I don't know if my internet will be fixed in time. So maybe it will, maybe we won't. It'll be a surprise for tomorrow night. If so, then do your thing. Otherwise, go to lonestarcomic.com and back my Mind of the Monster. I just finished. I edited a page and broke it into 3 pages because Kevin Sharp suggested that I add a little brutality to a particular scene, and I thought that's probably for the best of the story. So, thanks for the talk, Mike. Despite your mustard balls. So, anyways, I'm in this malaise again. It's like, oh, I just finished a thing. It's like I was already done with it, but now I have to finish it again, and now I finished it again, and now I'm back in the malaise. So, I'll figure it out sooner or later. Anyways, rest your voice. I will. Thanks everybody for being here. I'll see you in the next exciting episode of whatever.